This tutorial is all about getting inputs from the user, such as answering questions like entering a username or a password, or even velocities and pressure, but not only sticking to numbers, also such as would you like to repeat with a yes or no answer. This is an example in MATLAB where we solved the area of a triangle where we knew two sides and the angle in between. As far as we're concerned, this program right here has no user interaction. As soon as the programmer hits run, the user simply sees the result. The area is 13.3. But as far as changing what's inside the code, only the programmer is responsible. For example, 5.7, 153 and maybe 20 degrees, this is the programmer making the changes. As soon as run is hit, we have a new area, but again, the user can only see it. So this tutorial is all about getting user interactions. Please enter the side 1, please enter side 2, or the angle. The theory in itself is not complicated. If we have variable equals value, like we've done so far, we have absolutely no user interaction. This is called hard coding. What is in the code will forever stay like this when the user uses your software. If we want to prompt the user for data, which means to ask, then we need to allow interaction using the input command. And there is only one input command. However, there are two ways to use it. If you want numerical data, variable equals input and a prompt string. This is what we're going to ask the user, the words that we're going to choose to present would you like to enter something. Notice how the beginning is identical. Variable equal. We're still wanting to put a value inside a variable. However, we are no longer hard coding. We are asking the user. The second option is if we want to ask for username, password, sentences, anything that has to deal with letters. In that case, and you can notice, the only difference is the S at the end. And that's it as far as the input command is concerned. So let's go do some examples. Let's simply update our code for the area of a triangle. Instead of destroying the old one, I'll save it as area triangle user input. So instead of just hard coding 5.7, let's ask the user to enter. So always remember that the programmer makes the user's life easy. Be clear in your directions. Enter side 1 of the triangle. And let's see if this is valid. Run. Notice how MATLAB immediately jumped to the command window, and the cursor is blinking, letting us know, this time the user, that MATLAB is waiting for our input. So the side of the triangle was 5.3, for example. We can hit enter, and automatically MATLAB takes the 5.3, puts it inside 1, and continues as it was doing before. Although it is perfectly correct and done, this isn't exactly perfect. There's a lot missing as far as engineering and as far as presentation. As far as engineering, we're missing the unit. Yes, the unit was written as a comment for the programmer, but now we have to think about the user side. So let's do centimeter. And let's fix this issue. Let's try not to keep our numbers glued to the actual words. A simple colon and a space, but don't forget the space, would do the trick. Let's run again. All of a sudden it becomes a lot more professional, and we didn't have to do too much work. Side 1 of the triangle is 5.4. Let's do the same for side 2. And same presentation. Now that we know how to do it for the one, let's do it perfectly for the second. You can put a question mark instead of a colon if you want to. Notice how the color coding helps me immediately something is wrong. What did I forget right here that makes the whole thing underlined in orange and the code in red instead of purple? I missed the quote. The quote is what delimits the string you want to display. So let's do this one again. 5.4, 3, and 30 degrees. The area is still calculated, it's still correct. We didn't change the equation, so as far as the equation is concerned, it's correct. Don't forget to indicate units for angles, especially since it all depends on here. If you use the degree in the equation, it must be told to the user to use degrees. This is it for numerical data. Let's see an example for character data. For example, counting number of letters typed by user. Remember, the first two lines should always be CLC and clear. And as far as an algorithm here, ask user to type sentence, count number of characters. As far as asking the user to type a sentence, well, we need a sentence. The syntax at the beginning is identical. Input, please type a sentence. Don't forget that space here, just to make it clean and presentable. And that's it. Or is it? The difference between entering numerical data and char data is crucial. At the end, don't forget to tell MATLAB you're expecting a string. As far as counting the number of characters, number char, we have a simple function called length. This will count absolutely every character that I typed, so every key that I typed on my keyboard. Spaces will count as 1. Let's save and run this. Can I use sentence? No, because I've used it as a variable name. Well, I'll do sentence test. Save. So this time, please type a sentence. Hi there, how are you? How many letters are there? 16? 16 visible letters, yes. But there are also 4 spaces. So 16 plus 4 is 20. Now, had I not put that S at the end, let's run this. Hi there. There would have been an error message. Without the S, MATLAB is expecting numerical data. So MATLAB will keep asking forever and forever until you enter numbers. If this happens and you want to quit the code, this is something new. Control C. This terminates whatever MATLAB is currently doing and gives you back the prompt symbols. Remember that the prompt symbols tell you you are ready to go. So don't forget to include the S if you're asking for a string. For numerical data though, leave it alone. So the key points are: asking the user for data to process is key to any software. In MATLAB, the command to prompt data is input. Regardless of whether it's numerical data or char data, it's the identical command. However, there are 2 ways of using it, whether you want a string or just regular numerical data. Remember to put those colon and those spaces at the end to make the result presentable to the user. Control C will abort the current run. If one day you're stuck and you just want to stop everything, Control C. Try it yourself. Remember this problem that you technically did it on your own. Well, change the values so that the user can now type the radius and the height. This will test your understanding and make you realize if you have any issues. As far as new vocabulary, hard coding, prompt, and a string, but that was a review.